안녕하세요, 미역거예요.
한국어를 진짜 잘하시는 것 같아요.
제가 한국 드라마를 너무 좋아해서요. 지금 열심히 한국어 공부하고 있습니다.
안녕하세요.
안녕하세요. 저는 마와리의 버추얼 휴먼 미역거라고 합니다.
한국어가 굉장히 유창하시네요.
진짜요? 제가 목성에서 왔는데요. 지금 지구에서 일본어, 한국어, 영어를 공부하고 있습니다.
3개 국어나 그중에 한국어가 있다니 너무 좋네요. 한국에서는 K-팝 그리고 또 K-팝 데몬 헌터스 같은 작품들이 선풍적인 인기를 끌고 있습니다. 그중에 특히 좋아하는 거 또 있으실까요?
한국 작품이 너무 재미있는 게 많은데요. 그 안에서 제일 재미있던 작품이 오징어 게임이었어요.
오징어 게임 최근에 또 정말 인기를 끌기도 했었죠. 트렌드에 민감하시네요.
감사합니다.
이렇게 미유코와 짧게 만나봤습니다. 지금까지의 AI, GPT 같은 텍스트나 음성, 챗봇 수준에서만 존재했죠. 즉, 보이지 않는 지능이었어요. 그런데 마와리가 하려는 건 이 지능을 시각적으로, 눈앞에 실시간으로 등장시키는 겁니다. 예를 들어 길거리에서 안경을 쓰면 내 앞에 서 있는 3D AI 아바타가 보인다든지 그 아바타가 단순 캐릭터가 아니라 진짜 사람처럼 표정, 몸짓을 하며 실시간 반응까지 하는 거죠. 상상만 해도 대단하지 않나요? 마와리가 바로 그 인프라를 만들고 있습니다. 즉 보이지 않던 AI를 공간 속에서 실제로 만날 수 있게 해주는 기술을 만들고 있어요. 여러분도 느끼셨을 겁니다. 최근 AI가 우리의 일상을 많이 바꿔놨다는 걸요. 텍스트로만 말하는 AI는 편리하지만 대중이 공감하고 사용하려면 눈앞에서 반응하는 존재감이 필요하겠죠. 마와리는 2019년부터 이 퍼즐을 파고들었습니다. XR, 네트워크, 블록체인 기술을 엮어 3D 아바타 AI 에이전트가 현실 공간에서 상호작용하도록 만들어줍니다. 그것도 거의 지연 없이요. 그리고 이걸 떠받치는 바닥 인프라가 바로 스페이셜 컴퓨팅 전용 DePIN, 즉 마와리 네트워크예요. 숫자로 보죠. 넷플릭스, BMW, T-모바일, KDDI 등 대기업과 50개 이상 협업, 2024년 기준 5만 플러스 시간 스트리밍, 2025 회계연도 ARR 500만 달러 전망, 특허 5건 등록 9건 출원, XR 카이기 어워드 최고의 툴 수상, 여기에 퀄컴, 애니모카 브랜드, KDDI, 나이언틱, 매직립 등 파트너십, 삼성넥스트, 1KX, 애니모카 등으로부터 1730만 달러 투자까지 아이디어가 아니라 상용화 신호가 쌓이고 있다는 이야기죠. 그럼 오늘 우리는 무엇을 묻고 무엇을 들을까요? 왜 실시간 3D 스트리밍이 AI 대중화의 마지막 연결고리인가? 디핀 경제와 매출이 어떻게 연결되는가? 경쟁 우위의 실체와 함께 한국 투자자 관점의 기회를 알려드리려고 합니다. 여러분이 결국 던지는 질문은 이걸 겁니다. 투자자 입장에서 진짜 믿을 만한 프로젝트를 어떻게 찾아낼 수 있을까? 너무나도 빠른 속도로 급변하는 세상 속에서 나는 어떤 프로젝트를 공부해봐야 할까? 오늘 에피소드는 그 답을 소프트웨어가 아닌 현실에서 작동하는 인프라에서 찾아보려 합니다. 그럼 이제 마와리가 직접 들려주는 이야기로 들어가 보시죠. 오늘 마와리의 CEO 루이스를 모셨습니다. 안녕하세요.
여러분 안녕하세요. 마와리 대표님 루이스입니다.
바로 또 질문 들어가 보도록 하겠습니다. 마와리 네트워크가 도대체 무엇인지 설명해 주시면 좋을 것 같습니다.
So what is Mawari Network? Mawari Network is a network specialized in delivering 3D content to the next generation of devices. So to simplify it, is a content delivery network for the 3D internet. So as you can see, now we have these AI and AR glasses. They will need content. So we built the network that will stream content to this type of glasses.
루이스, 당신이 이 당신만의 개인 시간, 인정, 그리고 또 인생을 걸고 마와리에 몰두하게 된 당신만의 스토리가 좀 있지 않을까 생각이 드는데 그 이야기를 좀 들려주실 수 있을까요?
That's a very interesting question. Actually, since I was a kid, I was involved with virtual reality. So there was a device from Nintendo called the Virtual Boy. That was my first interaction with virtual reality. And since then, I was really interested in the technology. But it was until 2016 when I co-founded the Digital Arts Festival MUTEC with Takeo that we saw that actually it was very difficult to create AR and VR content. And our thesis was that all the internet will become frameless, which means today we have internet in 2D screens that is inside the frame, but that internet or that media will become all the way to your eyes, which means it's frameless and everything is around us. So with that mission, we decided to create the company Mawari because in the end, we knew that the internet would become in 3D. Now, what was that decisive moment when we said, okay, so we need to focus only in Mawari? Was actually shortly after we started the company. So we were introduced to KDDI, the Japanese telco, and they came to us with a very interesting problem. They wanted to stream a digital human, a virtual human, into AR glasses, into iPads and other devices. And they asked many companies to solve the problem. At the time, we were just a 3-person startup, Takeo, Alex, and I. And this, let's call it competition, was sent also to big companies like AWS and others. And it's kind of like a David and Goliath story in the end, because a 3-person startup actually managed to solve that problem. We were able to stream a digital human into a smartphone, but we also realized that the current infrastructure and the current way of streaming 2D content was not built for 3D streaming. So that's when we decided, okay, there's a big opportunity here, so we should focus on creating 3D streaming technology.
넷플릭스가 영화 스트리밍을 바꿨듯 마와리도 일상 스트리밍을 바꿀 수 있을까요?
Yes, I think so. We will change the way streaming is set right now. Why? Because with Netflix today, you press play and within less than a second, you have a very high quality movie in your phone, in your TV, everywhere. And we designed the Mawari technology and the Mawari network to have that same level of quality, but for 3D. In the future, all content will be through these glasses, right? So in the end, you just need to press play and have the content. So that's our mission.
넷플릭스, BMW, AWS, 퀄컴, T-모바일, KDDI 이런 해외 유수의 대기업들과 협업을 하셨는데요. 한국에서도 마와리에 삼성이 투자를 했는데 이와 비슷한 대기업들과 협업 계획이 앞으로 있으실까요?
Yes, of course. We believe that there's a very good opportunity in Korea for our technology because Korea has a very good entertainment industry and they have a lot of avatars as well. Like you talked to Miyoko and you were talking about the K-pop demon hunters. So just as you interview Miyoko, using our technology, you could be interviewing anybody of the K-pop demon hunters or, for example, Nevis from aespa or any other character. So yeah, we're definitely open to collaborate here in Korea and we're looking forward for this collaboration.
AR의 대중화. 지금 챗GPT가 굉장히 유행하는 것처럼 XR의 시대도 도래한다고 생각하십니까?
Yes, I believe the moment is now. Actually, we started building this technology since 2017, so it's been almost 8 years now. But why I believe so, we all know about AI and AR from pop culture. We have seen this in the movies, right? Like all movies have like holograms and all movies have AI. We thought about AR like it was a very far away technology until ChatGPT happened, right? This is going to happen very soon for AR as well. Why I think so? Because 2 weeks ago, Meta released the next generation of these glasses. These glasses now can actually show subtitles. For example, if I don't speak a language, they can translate in real time. And it is that step that the industry needed to become that ChatGPT moment. So I would say that the iPhone moment just happened 2 weeks ago and the race will start very soon. Samsung as well is going to announce new devices very soon. So actually, yes, the technology is ready because we have a lot of use cases that we've been experimenting since 2017. One of them is digital assistants. That could be, for example, a teacher teaching your kids another language. We could have a telepresence, meaning a phone call, but in full 3D. And use cases are simple that in your glasses, you can have real-time translation or directions to a place. The world will change very soon into always looking down to always look up because all the information is around.
아까 말씀하셨던 것처럼 이 모니터 안이 아니라 우리 주변 공간이 전부 인터넷이 되는 시대. 이 마와리가 그 스위치를 딱 켤 수 있을까요?
Yes, actually, as I explained earlier, we're coming from frame to frameless media, and I do believe Mawari can turn that switch on. Why? Currently, we're working specifically in Japan, in the US, and now Korea with virtual avatars. We have a couple projects with virtual YouTuber agencies. It's the next generation of content. So these virtual YouTubers actually, just like K-pop demon hunters, only exist in the virtual world, right? But their fans want to connect with them, just as our fans want to connect with a K-pop artist or with a sports person. They also want to connect with their virtual artists. So what we've been seeing in Japan actually since 2 years ago is that the fans of virtual YouTubers actually, when they use our technology, they're willing to pay up to $500 for 2 minutes of conversation, that interaction with virtual avatars. So this is just the beginning, and it is just kind of like a proof that our technology and AR is here to stay. Just as these use cases start evolving, because for example, when YouTube started, we didn't know that the YouTuber or the influencer industry was going to be this big, right? So the next generation, Gen Alpha and onwards, are the ones to define how this technology will be used. The first one is virtual YouTubers, but if you think about, like, for example, how kids communicate today, they communicate also through avatars. For example, we have a Roblox, we have Fortnite, and that's their SNS. Actually, we are old and we use Instagram or maybe Facebook or Kakao, but kids communicate through video games. And the 3D internet will bring these 3D avatars into the real world, and it will be part of our daily lives.
AWS, 구글, 이들도 못한 걸 마와리가 블록체인으로 하려는 이유가 뭔가요? 진짜로 뭐가 좀 다른지 궁금합니다.
Okay, so this is a very difficult question, but I will try to break it down in a couple parts on how our technology can be competitive against the big tech. So the first one is we have core technology that we've been building since 2017. This core technology is 3D streaming. We have a couple patents, and this company has been solely focused on that since then. The second reason is that this core technology needs distributed infrastructure, and this distributed infrastructure is very expensive. So right now, big tech is focusing on scaling AI, which is also very expensive. So they are not focusing on scaling AR yet because the use cases will come in the future. So right now for us is the correct timing to build this network and be competitive and have a significant market share when the ChatGPT moment of AR happens. The next that I would like to mention is that when big tech enters into an industry, they just do it as a test. So they have very small teams and small resources, and in the end, there's a big, long decision-making process. So this is where a startup can excel, because a startup is lean and just moves towards the same direction much faster. So in this case, think about OpenAI. They started very small, and then they became really big really quickly. So for Google or for Amazon to catch up, it takes time because there are many layers of management and so on and so forth. And finally, why blockchain? As I mentioned, we need distributed infrastructure that is very expensive to scale. Another alternative to scale this infrastructure is through the contribution of many people, right? And for distributing that compute across many people, we need a decentralized or a trustless system so that we can coordinate and we can validate the quality of service. So decentralization allows us to scale much faster and with much more resilience. So that's another point of why a decentralized network is actually more resilient of a centralized infrastructure. Many people may think that, okay, so centralized infrastructure is better, but let's ask this question. When was the last time the Bitcoin was down? More than 10 years ago. Actually, the SLA of Bitcoin is more than 9.9999%, right? And when we think about AWS or Google, in their contract, they just offer you 99.9%. That means they have the right to be offline a couple hours a year, but that could mean millions, if not billions of dollars to some companies. And if we think about, like, okay, when was the last time Facebook or Instagram was down or any other big tech company, we can actually think, oh, it was actually this year. It was not that far away. Centralized networks have a single point of failure, and decentralized networks are much more resilient. And this is why we're building it in Web3 in the end.
넷플릭스, BMW, T-모바일 이런 해외 대기업이 마와리를 선택했던 이 결정적인 이유가 뭐라고 생각하십니까?
So yeah, there are a couple of reasons why. But the bottom line is that we build the technology for consumers. So the quality that we provide in our streaming technology is ready for consumer use. And this is the main reason why these big brands chose us. Why we built this technology consumer ready first is because we started in Japan, which is a country that focuses a lot on entertainment. And while collaborating with KDDI, we were always forced to actually test our technology with consumers. So obviously, even though we were an early stage startup, we really didn't have any chance to fail, because if we failed, then we are out and we couldn't deliver. So working with KDDI for several years gave us that strength that other brands recognize, that even though we are a startup, we actually can deliver at the level that these companies require. So this is one of the main reasons why they chose us. And the second reason is because as we focus in this very specific problem, we also know a lot about AR in the entire industry. So we also give our partners added value in that end. Like, we tell them in terms of AR what really works, what are the interactions that can actually monetize, and the ones that maybe that they don't work. So all in all, it's just this unique combination of core technology plus the know-how that we have acquired for the last 8 years in AR that these big companies trust.
마와리의 메타 그리고 구글 출신 인재들이 많다고 들었는데 이들이 합류한 이유는 무엇이었을까요?
Yeah, this is a very inspiring question because, yeah, we have a very strong team, and our team members have come from these big companies. But the one reason I would say that they joined Mawari is because in Mawari they can make an impact. And while you are working at big tech, there's a lot of people, and maybe your ideas are not taken very important. So that's one of the main reasons when I have talked to our team members that they decided to choose us. The second reason is because actually they've been in each part of the industry. For example, Magic Leap makes glasses, Meta is focusing also on hardware and operating system, Google is focusing also on operating system. So they understand that Mawari vision is actually complementary and it fulfills the entire AR vision. So that's also what it inspires them, because they understand, okay, if I join Mawari, I contribute and my voice is heard. Actually, we can become that next big tech company. So this is, I think, the two reasons why our employees actually are very excited about our company.
AR이 대중화되는 시점이 언제라고 생각하시는지 마와리의 전망과 함께 말씀해 주시면 좋을 것 같습니다.
Okay, so actually I believe, I cannot say exactly, but it will happen within the next 2-3 years. And I'm very certain of this because we've been in this industry for almost 8 years. So we have seen the evolution of the devices, we have seen the evolution of the applications. And as I mentioned, 2 weeks ago, Meta released the next generation of glasses. So this was the missing point for the industry to start becoming mainstream. So I do believe that by 2027, 2028, we'll start seeing mainstream use cases, and by 2030, we won't even think about it, but it will be part of our daily lives in the end. And how Mawari fits into this timing? Well, we started in 2017, so we've seen a lot of evolutions of this industry. And in the end, right now, why we're doing Mawari Network? Because we know it's the correct timing to start building the infrastructure, because in 2027 and 2028, most of developers will start building applications just as when the iPhone started and 2 to 3 years took to build a lot of applications and then have what we have today. It will be the same for AR. So in 2027 and 2028, there will be a huge demand for AR infrastructure, and will be ready for that timing. Then the rest will be about the scalability.
그럼 가장 큰 리스크 탑 3는 뭘까요?
I can think of three risks. As a startup, always not having enough money or funding is one. The second would be specific to our use case, not having enough content to stream, then the company cannot scale. And the third one would be what happens if these devices are delayed or actually there are no these devices, that in the end we use AR glasses. So the first one, the financial part. Most of the infrastructure companies or that provide an enabling technology like ours, they actually just focus on building the core technology and wait for other companies to use their technology, right? As I can say, we started the company in 2018 and we had to survive as a startup. So right now we know that only waiting for other companies to use our technology is not enough. So we are launching our own B2B platform in which we can actually control our demand and monetize actively. So this is a way to mitigate the risk of, so there's not enough funding. The second one is, there's not enough content. Is very similar. By building our own platform, we're actually bringing in more demand and more content, and we're able to tackle the lack of content. And finally, what happens if these glasses get delayed or actually it turns out that we never use AR glasses? That's also okay because our technology can stream to other devices. It is evident that maybe if we don't use glasses, we will have 3D displays or holographic displays, right? So our technology is 3D streaming and we can effectively pivot into streaming to these devices if the end device is not the AR glasses. So while there are big risks, I think we're in a good position to address them because we have been in the industry for a long term and we know how to pivot our technology into the right direction.
5년 후 마와리는 어떤 회사가 되어 있을까요?
In 5 years, I believe we have the opportunity to really become the Akamai of XR, as some people have mentioned about our company. Why? Because in 5 years, there will be a lot of AR content that needs to be streamed, and we are at the right timing of building the infrastructure for this. So I do believe that we will have significant market share, and we will be streaming content to not only Japan, Korea, and the US, but to all over the world.
마와리가 여는 세계에서 돈을 버는 방식만 바뀌나요? 아니면 살아가는 방식 자체가 바뀌나요?
Yes, I do believe our technology will not only change the way we live or the way we earn money. Actually, it's more about changing the world. We build this technology in order to make people closer. So, for example, let's say that your relatives live in overseas and you don't have chance to be with them, but through our technology, you have that sense of presence. You can feel very close. That was one of our objectives when we first built our technology. Another one would be, like, for example, what if our relatives unfortunately passed away, but we were able to capture those moments and share with our kids or future generations? They will know how our ancestors lived. So all these type of new experiences that we couldn't have before is what we as Mawari want to bring to the world. More importantly, I think that using technology responsibly, like the combination of AI, XR, and Web3, can significantly have an impact in our daily lives. But it needs to be used responsibly, like everything. So here at Mawari, we're actually building the technology that will augment our lives with the responsible use. More importantly, I do believe that combining Web3, AI, and XR can significantly change the world. Why? Because XR augments our senses, and that sense of presence, as I mentioned with XR. The second one, AI, it augments creativity, but it can also help us translate things that we don't know. And finally, Web3, it can change the way we interact with money. So by combining these three together in a responsible way, I do believe very strongly that we can create a new society. When we built the company, he said, I want my kids to look at my mother that maybe is not going to be here with us in the future, right? And through our technology, we can bring those moments from the past. So that's actually one of the reasons why Takeo decided to build the technology.